So here's the best part, right? It's football time, right? It's football season now, right? We get to play a game Saturday night.
Let's do it.
Yes,
Nunzio Campanella, he's ready. No guy had a tougher offseason than Nuns, 2-7. We'll get into it a lot. This is our Jersey preview show. What's up, bud?
Hey, we're back in the saddle again.
Lot to do.
Really?
We saw a lot of teams in the preseason, so this is kind of like what our thoughts are and guys that we saw. Not guys that have been projected to be great,
right.
Guys that we just saw that we're going to show some highlights of, get our thoughts. You know, everybody knows about guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick, and we saw him, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on the Alabama recruit. But we did see him a couple of times.
Yes.
You didn't talk to the guys in graphics, did you?
I did not.
You didn't get a car.
I've
seen a lot of you.
Of course.
In the preseason. We started on the 21st. You actually on the 19th went to St. Joe's, but you rode your bicycle there. So that's South Brunswick
You
at
couldn't
Bergen.
put me in the car?
106. Look at the head Farley. Then you have 136, 342 miles to Montclair and Hamilton. Then we made the trip on the 25th back down to South Jersey. We went to Timber Creek High School down in Sicklerville, 292. Then 2 stops, Rumson and Fairfield, Connecticut, 220. Saw some 4-ways that day. The 27th in Morristown for a 4-way. We saw Del Barton, and none of their best players were playing that day. I sat in traffic for 3 hours.
You got the high school football gas card?
Yeah, then we got the 270. We were in down Red Bank and Ramsey. That was a good work day. The next day, 185 miles. We were in Jersey City, Washington Township, and Franklin Lakes. And then on Saturday, 155 miles. We spent the day in Brooklyn, New York.
A lot of gas, a lot of coffee.
Jimmy, 9 days, 34 teams.
Does this car even move?
1,872 miles.
Very crafty.
Stack and Butler were in there.
1,872 miles. Very impressive. Yeah. Didn't do much for my marriage, but what the heck, I'm back.
No, we did a lot, and you know who did a lot in the off season was Bergen Catholic, and here's why. Because if you remember last year, the Crusaders had their worst season since 1961. They went 1-7-1. There were 3 games that they were very competitive in with a play here or there that they could have won, including the overtime, 3 overtime.
Too many points, though, Mike. Look how many points they gave up. Yep. Too many.
But Nuns wasn't making any excuses when I talked to him last week.
Well, you know, I mean, I think in the end, you kind of had to look at the results and say, well, you know, we didn't make any of the plays in any of the games, so I don't know if we deserve to be much better than we were. I mean, we were in all the games, but, you know, it's easy to say that, but I think we recognize that we have to do things differently if we want to win those games. So it really was a good starting point going into the offseason.
Because of the way last year went, the offseason can go one of 2 ways. Guys can run and hide, or guys can come out and say, we're going to change that. What is the mindset, Ben, of this team?
Honestly, they've worked as hard as any team I've ever been around. You know, our attendance in the weight room was off the charts. These guys have been really focused, you know, since the day the season ended. I mean, we started our training in January, and I would say 70% of the kids started their training in December on their own. So they've been highly motivated since we put the helmets away last year.
To me, it's the story of the year in New Jersey. I mean, Bergen Catholic, their enrollment was down. To me, it's a direct result that their football team struggled for the first time in 24 years, didn't play in the postseason, didn't win a game in the state of New Jersey. Tough year.
That being said,
story of the year in New
we
Jersey.
saw a lot of them in the preseason. The vibe I got, the feel I got was that their demise has been greatly exaggerated. Mm-hmm. Okay, because if you talk to people in June and July, Bergen 2-7, doesn't look like they're going to be much better. I think quite the contrary. I think they have a much cleaner look to them. Their offense is going to speak for itself. I mean, there are certain things that jump out to you last year. You know, the 3 defeats by less than a touchdown. You know, all the close games, whatever. They are what they are. You're 2-7, like Parcells used to say. Mike, they had 1 interception last year. That almost seems to be impossible. One.
And offensively.
How many will they have this year?
What's that?
How many interceptions will they have this year?
Well,
throw a number out there.
I don't know. I know their offense will be better because I look at the offense.
But by default, they'll have 10 interceptions.
No way. 10 interceptions is a lot. 2,500 total yards of offense this year. Okay, they played the 2 quarterback platoon system, Colin McGovern and Jarrett Guarantano. Guarantano's back. He's got a whole bunch of major college offers, and he knows a lot of this season is on his shoulders.
So it's a lot different. I mean, just being able to be the only player in there, being able to have the offense to yourself, just concentrated really this offseason, just getting better at myself, and then hopefully helping the team this year.
You know, it's funny because when I watched you last year, and we just talked about it, I didn't think your body language was good. I didn't think your leadership skills were good. I see a different kid. You physically have improved. You've gotten stronger. You've understood the game better. How did you improve those two parts of your game?
I mean, I just took it step by step. I knew last year that I wasn't mature enough. I knew I wasn't really to the stage yet that I knew I had to lead my team. But this year, this offseason, I really took into action that I knew that I had to be the leader of the team. I knew that I had to come in and work harder than everybody, and just really just lead the team and just try to be one of the guys.
The bullseye will be on Bergen Catholic. And Bergen Catholic, to me, is a lot like Notre Dame. When they're not good, it's not good for football.
Right.
I can promise you this team's going to win a lot more than 2 games this year. Why is this team going to be so much better this year?
I mean, it's just a group of guys that really came together and really said that they had one mission intact, and they really just said, we won a championship and we have to do whatever coach says to do it because he knows how to win. So we really came into the offseason and said, all right, this is how we're going to do it, and this is what we're going to do, and if you don't like it, just leave.
You look like you're having fun, and that's the most important thing. You got to have skills at a quarterback, but you look like you're having fun.
Right. I mean, this game is fun. Even with the group of guys that I'm with, just makes it even more fun for us.
Hey, when Urban Meyer offers you a scholarship before you take a snap as a junior, it means something. And look at the schedule here. If Garantano stays healthy, sky's the limit. But right away, Mike, 9/11, St. Peter's Prep. There's a barometer game for the state of New Jersey.
No doubt. He didn't make any excuses about last year, and Nunzio's excited about the kids he's bringing back this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're a much improved team. I mean, right now we're athletically better, and a lot of that's from maturity. A lot of it's from the weight room, and on top of that, you know, we understand what we're doing a lot better. You know, we've got a lot of young players that have worked really hard to make sure they get what they're doing, and now when we put the ball in their hands, they have a chance to make plays. So I think that's exciting, and I think our defense is playing with great energy.
You know, it's funny. I've watched a lot of the teams now in the preseason. In the preseason, you know, who wins preseason games doesn't matter at all. But looking at offenses so far, if you ever get a consistent running game, this football team is going to be lethal on offense.
We have some talented backs, you know, and Jarrett can really run too. So I think that those things and our ability to throw the ball will definitely help us run the ball.
I told your quarterback after the scrimmage today that he's grown so much as a person, maturity-wise. If I'm seeing it in a game, you know it's happened. How has he gone about making himself a better player, a better person on the field? Because let's face it, if you're going to win a lot of games, he's going to be a big reason why.
Oh, absolutely. We need him to be a great player. I mean, especially in our offense, we ask him to do a lot. But I think more importantly, he's developed a great level of accountability. You know, he's taken a lot on his shoulders, and as he's done that, you just see him get better every week. You know, when things go bad, he's keeping his head about him and going out and making plays, and you know that says a lot about the maturity that he's gone through this year. And I think he's really ready to have a great season. I think that as much hype as there is about him, I think that he'll exceed people's expectations in the next 4 months.
You told your guys after your final scrimmage, 12 games. 12 games means a state championship. At that 12th game, does this team, do you feel right now, has what it takes to win a state title?
I think we definitely do. I mean, heck, Bergen Catholic, I mean, we should expect that every year. And you know, that's part of the pride and tradition that we have in our program. I think our kids really would accept nothing less than that from being a successful season. And, you know, I know there's a lot of great teams. I mean, some of the best teams in the country we got to go through on our way. But, you know, our biggest mission is, you know, to get better every week and find a way to make sure that when the playoffs come, we're playing our best football and we have an opportunity to be playing football in December. And, you know, we wouldn't set our sights on anything else.
He is one of the most positive people we've ever met in this business.
And it's always important for Nunzio and his quarterback to have a great relationship. He always has, going back to Don Bosco days, and you finally see that this year with Garantano. And it's going to, listen, sky is the limit, man.
Well, there are great quarterbacks in the parochial league this year, and here's the arms race. And let's start. As far as quarterbacks go, the most impressed of any quarterback I was in the preseason was with the junior, 6'3", has great command, knows he's the leader, and now he's not playing to prove to people how good he is, he's just playing.
He knows the job is his, he's comfortable out there, and Mike, you know, he's almost like the high school version of Colin Kaepernick, man. He's so long, he's got that big, strong arm, He runs with reckless abandon. And listen, he's been at that position his whole life, and he just has a great sense of confidence and comfort out there now, and a little toughness to boot.
Straight A student with a 3.9 grade point average, a great athlete with 4.65 speed. Brandon Wimbush, I watched him warm up as a sophomore in the scrimmages back then. I love this kid's game. Well, they love him now. Franklin loves him at Penn State. That's where he's going to go. Brandon Wimbush, what a huge arm he has. Another wonderful young man, 1,600 yards passing last year, 15 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. When he spins it like no other.
The Nittany Lion Nation won out because he also had offers from Ohio State, Boston College, Miami. I mean, he had 19 FBS offers. And if not for the second quarter concussion in the state final a year ago, St. Peter's Prep might be the defending New Jersey big school champion in the parochial division. Everything you want in a high school quarterback.
He's very strong. When he gets time to throw, he can throw it like very few have in the tri-state. At Don Bosco, Wesley McCoy, oh that's right, transfer. Came from Dwight Morrow, where he went after the beginning of last year when he wasn't going to get on the field for Don Bosco as a quarterback. Goes there, plays quarterback, runs for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards, throws for 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns. Now he's back. He led Dwight Morrow to a 6-4 record a year ago. Now Greg Tolles entrusted the offense to the Boston College-bound athlete.
And you saw that touchdown in the Union City scrimmage. That was McCoy to R.J. Edwards. Remember R.J.? He played for the Green Knights of St. Joe's a year ago. Little different style than you used to seeing at Don Bosco Prep. This kid can absolutely spin it like they want their quarterbacks to. But when push comes to shove, he wants to run the football.
I just want to see if he has to make a throw. Will he be able to make? Anybody can throw it when they want to, but when you have to, I want to see if McCoy's that guy. Willie Hansen transferred into Paramus Catholic during the season last year from Morris Hills. Had a couple of passes last year, 5 of 7 for 58 yards and a touchdown with PC. In his career at Morris Hills before he transferred over, 1,500 yards passing, 26 touchdowns. Watching him in the preseason, I think his athleticism is ahead of his passing.
It's always the question when you make the jump, when you go from AAA to the major leagues, when you go from college football to the NFL. Willie Hansen is making the jump from public school to now the big parochial, and now he's going to see a level of play he hasn't seen before. He's a huge question mark, but Mike, he's got all the tools.
So Hansen came in last year almost as like that proverbial high school kid that goes to college after Christmas, gets a head start. Ryan Adzema a year ago was at Wallington High School and threw for over 3,000 yards. He just transferred in around the 4th of July. Tall kid, 6'4", 220 pounds. We watched him the other night. One of the things that he's going to have to do, 32 touchdown passes a year ago, 21 interceptions. That's not going to work for McKenna's Spartans, and they have a ton of quarterbacks.
I mean, he's a big kid, big arm Mike. He's got everything a quarterback wants under the Christmas tree. He's got weapons all around. But again, just as we said about Willie a second ago, Adzema is like a fighter stepping up in class right now.
Actually, that throw right there was another one of their quarterbacks, Adam Schlereth. He's another transfer, 5'11", 200 pounds. The final quarterback, I think, may have the most pressure on him, Jack Walsh. It was a quarterback competition up until a couple of days ago. Walsh, the big senior, he's going to get the nod. Austin Badrado will not be the quarterback for St. Joe's this year. He'll play defense, and Walsh, last year in varsity play, 5 of 5, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. Big, strong guy.
Big, strong Irishman. His head coach, Augie Hoffman, loves him. He's a lifelong quarterback. They are very comfortable with Jack Walsh running the show.
Bergen Catholic, the #1 story in the state of New Jersey, I think, when it comes to football. The #2 story, St. Joe's, because this guy is now the head coach. Augie Hoffman takes over for Tony Karsich after 38 years. He knows all about the program. One of the best players ever to play at the Montvale School. Big offensive lineman, went off to Boston College, had a wonderful career, cup of coffee in the NFL. And here's Aug's numbers. He's one of our guys. I mean, we go back a long way with Coach Hoffman, back to our Heisman days. He led the Green Knights to a #3 ranking that year. A great football player at Boston College. He's been an assistant the last 5 years, and this was predetermined a few years ago that he would replace this man, Tony Karsich. So Augie is ready to replace, when you look at the numbers that Karsich put up, one of 7 coaches in state history to have over 300 wins. You've known him forever. I mean, 338 career wins. Augie's in a tough spot, but he's got the DNA to do it.
New Jersey football will not be the same without Coach K out there, but it's been a seamless transition. Augie is a Ring of Honor St. Joe's guy, but let's face it, Tony Karsich was New Jersey football. Still going to be around as the AD, and I'm sure if he's got to chip in once in a while, Augie's ear will be wide open.
Well, Spencer Allcamp's gone, Sherman Olston's gone, Austin Stapleton's gone. Augie knows, yeah, there'll be pressure replacing the legend.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody sit here and say they don't feel it, they'd be lying to you. I think it's a good pressure, though. And we want to maintain what we've done here and build on what he's, on the legacy that he left. So pressure, yes, but it's positive.
Break. Jog back. Physical today. Physical at the point. Finish to the whistle.
What day did it finally hit you that you were the new head coach of St. Joe's?
I think the day he stepped down, I mean, it changed. I mean, the world changed, camps changed. You know, everything's different. You know, I was always kind of the go-between, the buffer, and now, you know, it ends with me, and it's a new role that I'm adapting to and learning. And thank God I have great coaches with me, because, you know, a guy like Rob Stern and Lou Geely and John, these guys have been around for a long time. So I'm learning as much from them on the fly as I am, you know, a different coach. So it's good.
The first real test of the year. Doesn't mean anything in terms of season, but it means everything for this group of guys right here. It means everything, all right? Get your mind right, play physical, play fast. St. Joe's football.
You had great success as a player. You won championships. Great success as assistant coach. Won championships. Now as the head man, does this team have the DNA that can win a championship?
I think we do. I mean, I think when we're executing the way what we want, we can be very good. You see today, you know, a lot of mental mistakes, and then you get beat deep, and that kills you. Unfortunately, those points count. So, you know, we have the kids. Just a matter of putting everybody in the right places and you know, working as one unit. If we can do that, we'll be very good.
What do you like best about being a head coach?
You know, I think at the end of the day, it's gonna, like, you know, the coaches have always said, the guys that have been head coaches, that it's gonna fall on you, and there's something to be said about that. You know, it's not going to be the offense coordinator, the defense coordinator. It's going to be on my shoulders, and it's a good challenge, and I think I'm ready for it.
We got to create movement. You get inside out? Yeah. You did? Yeah. All right. Let's go. Hey, we got great protection right now, right? That's good stuff. Giving them time. Let's pick them apart. Hey, I want to see us be more physical up front. Let's be physical on the run.
What do you like least about being a head coach?
All the BS politics and the extracurricular. You know, I texted Coach the other day. I said I should be punched in the mouth for every time I questioned the way you do things the way you did. And it's just, if I could just coach football, I'd be happy. But unfortunately, there's a ton of other stuff that goes into it. And, you know, like I said, we're learning to deal with it.
Has Karsich left you alone?
He has. He's left me alone. He picks up the phone the minute I call. And I know that he's going to be there for me whenever I need him. And I'm going to need him. I mean, we've kind of gotten through camp, and he's let me do my thing and, you know, put our stamp on it. But you know, there's no question that he and I are going to spend a lot of hours together this year.
How many times has he told you how much his golf game has improved?
He looks. Look at him. I mean, he comes in smiling every day. I know he's shooting in the 80s on a regular basis now. So he's doing a great job. Listen, he deserves it.
Good thing for Augie, Tony was in Ireland playing golf last week because they did not play well against Montclair in their game scrimmage.
Not a good first half, rebounded in the third quarter, but it's true. Tony leaving took 5 strokes off his game, but you could see the game face of Augie Hoffman. And this is part of it, Mike. When you become a head coach in high school in 2014 in a league like they play in, there's a lot of other things going on around you. He's going to have to learn to deal with that, balance it. There's a lot. He lost 11 starters. That's the bad news. Good news is he brings 11 starters back, and you got guys like Joe Giles Harris. You're doing okay.
You know, that's good. Joe Giles, we're going to talk to him. We're also going to talk to Tommy Hatton. Good news, sounds like Hatton's going to be ready to go against McDonough this weekend. He's very good going to North Carolina next year. And when Karsich coached all those St. Joe's teams, he only coached 2 freshmen that ever played varsity football on the offensive line. The new head coach of St. Joe's and Tommy Hatton, who talked about the new head coach of St. Joe's.
I mean, a little change here and there. They kind of have the same structure, how they run the program, practice a little different, little things like that. And coach brings a lot of intensity, a lot of enthusiasm to the field, and that's, I think, what we need. A new face, and people are excited to play for him, and he's doing a great job. And I mean, we have a lot of things to work on before the first game, but I think we showed a little piece today, and yeah, he's continued to do a good job, and hopefully have a big-time season.
How tough is this for you? You go out to the opening out in the Nike headquarters and you mess up your foot. How tough has it been for you standing around watching, and when are we going to see you back?
Oh, it's been tough, really tough. I love football. I just want to be out here with the team, but I've been trying to do as much as I can. Been watching film with Coach as much as I can, helping the younger kids out, and I think they're doing a great job. And I think that I could be ready to play game 1 if they need me, but definitely for week 2 against St. Edwards, that's going to be a big one down in Cleveland. They're this preseason number 6 in the country, so I think they might save me for that week. I think I'll dress week 1, and if they need me to play, I'll play, but definitely week 2.
Are you shocked, a kid who got on the field as a freshman and made plays, are you shocked that it's your senior year already?
Oh, yeah, it went by so fast, and all the great teams I played for at St. Joe's, it's my last time around, and I want to do it right. I want to finish off, get that 4th ring, and just be successful. I mean, we have all the pieces to do it again, and I think a lot of people slept on us. They didn't really know what we had in the tank, and I think we're starting to show that St. Joe's is no joke, and we're coming hungry.
How's this Coach Hoffman?
I love Coach Hoffman. I mean, it's different, you know. Coach Carter's gone, him taking over, but he's took stride real quick, and we're loving it. He's getting everything done, moving up, and we're getting used to everything.
Your sophomore year, great success. Your junior year, great success. Now you're a senior. Different look around here, lost some key guys. How good can this football team be this year?
We could be very good. I mean, we just got to get up to our potential, and Coach Hoffman stresses that every day effort. We got to put 100% effort, everything we do, to get there. And it starts with the offensive line. He's got them right where they're going. They're big, physical, and they're moving the balls. Today, we moved the ball well for the most part. But it starts up there, and it's going to echo down. And I mean, with him, it's never a drop off. So you got to always keep up that top spot in Jersey.
And what's the goal, personally and team-wise, for you?
Team-wise, I think same thing. We're looking 12-0. That's every goal every year. 12-0. Beat Bosco, beat Bergen. 12-0. That's the goals we set every year. And personally, I'm just trying to be a better teammate, better leader. I mean, we lost Mark Fasati, Aunt Paolo, Sherman Austin. The list goes on and on. But I'm just trying to be a better teammate, better leader out there for the kids. When you came here, did you think you'd be a scholarship football player going off to Duke? No, I did not. I really didn't. I mean, that's the only thing I talked about, getting a scholarship, playing college football my whole life with my parents and whatnot, but I didn't think it would happen.
Great young man, terrific player.
Gets his wheels from his mom and gets his smile from his dad. And you look at their schedule, Mike, and the common denominator with all these Jersey schools playing out of state. You know, the McDonoughs, the St. Edwards, the St. Joe's Prep, they're great programs. But what version of those programs are you going to see this year? You just never know.
I think their big game is Bergen Catholic. Although I can't wait to see Fuller for Old Japan. I can't. We did
little Big Fuller.
Yeah, the one guy that in the preseason that I really wanted to see, I didn't get an opportunity. We made the long trip down to Timber Creek in Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Basically Philadelphia.
It was Philadelphia. And when Chris Partridge took over 5 years ago, his 5-year plan was simple. Let's get one in year number 5. Well, he messed that plan up because he got one in year 3 and year 4. He loses Peppers, he loses Shanley, he loses Washington, he loses Nick Flores. He got some transfers that we'll talk about. He always does until the state steps in and stops him. He's going to continue to do it. So deal with it. He seemed pretty loose after the game against Timber Creek. By the way, if Timber Creek played up here, we'd watch them a lot because they were really, they are without question one of the top 5 teams we'll see all year. We know that already. So how'd your conversation go with the coach?
I loved it, and most importantly, when you think about Paramus Catholic, Mike, you realize one thing. For them to be the two-time defending champs in the heavyweight division, it wasn't just Peppers, it was the program.
Jimmy caught up with Chris Partridge, the head coach of our defending #1 team in the Tri-State.
Yeah, I mean, the growth has been unbelievable, you know, so that's what you want, you know, the pride in the school and in the program and the growth of the team. You know, this program is a program, and it's well on its way to being successful for years to come, so it's exciting.
And for the Paladins now, your reputation sort of precedes you. You come down to a place like this. There was a lot of curiosity. This field was lined with fans from down here in South New Jersey. They wanted to see the two-time defending champs.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. I think that everyone kind of realized that it was going to be, a big-time scrimmage, highly competitive and fun. I mean, I can't imagine. I've never seen or been involved in a scrimmage as competitive and as back and forth as that one. And it was exciting, and we learned a ton, and I'm sure the fans learned a ton too.
On every level, it's one of the oldest adages in sports that the toughest thing to do is repeat. Well, you proved you could repeat last year. Now, I mean, my gosh, the quest to three-peat, that carries a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of this team in order to find a way to do that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, three-peating is one of the hardest things. You look at Alabama last year not being able to do it. You look at the Heat not being able to do it in the NBA. We tell those, that's something we talk about all the time. Three-peating is the hardest one, and it's the one that's going to take the most effort, the most mental focus, the most discipline. And, we've been talking that, for a full year. So I think we're ready for the challenge, and, we're going to go in, we're going to compete every week and see what happens at the end.
Isn't the end of August great? When you think about this league you're in, word around town, Bosco's back, St. Peter's is one of the top teams in America, Bergen is much better than people are giving them credit, St. Joe's has bounced back. I mean, is this what August is all about?
This is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. We want to, be in fifth going into the season. That's for sure. I think that the Paul, Joe's, Bergen, Bosco, Peters, I think that they're all guys that return guys. They're well coached. They're probably, better than us, and we just want to climb the mountain, baby. That's what we're about.
So they're going to climb that mountain. They started the climb 2 years ago when they won the title, when Peppers transferred from Bosco to Paramus. Now Peppers, the number 2 rated player in America last year, he's at Michigan. And guess who's here now? Class of 2016, the number 1 rated defensive lineman in America, Rashawn Gary, transferred in from Scotch Plains. 2-year varsity player, 6'4", 285 pounds with 4.7 speed, has an unbelievable understanding of the game of football, a very understated young man, and you caught up with him after the game. What'd you think?
Listen, I thought he was right out of Central Casting. You just don't see defensive tackles on the high school level every day who look like this kid, and I think he's pretty well grounded. He knows where he wants to get to. Should we hear from him? Here we go.
Oh, it's been good. My coach making an easy transition, and especially my teammates.
There are not too many guys in the football landscape in New Jersey who, as a junior, people know as a household name. You're one of those guys. People have known Rashawn Gary since he was in 7th grade. Is that a lot of pressure to carry?
Yes and no. Like I said, my mom and my family, especially my coach, once again, and my teammates keep a lot of pressure off of me, so I don't even think about it.
You are 6'5", 290 pounds. You run a 4.7. There's not much physically you can't do, and you seem to really embrace getting after people.
Yeah, I do. Once I'm in the football field, I stay in my zone, and I stay in my zone because of my D linemen. They always keep me on track.
When you think about making the move to Paramus Catholic, you come here, they're on top of the world, 2-time defending champs. Your ticket is punched, we know that. Why would you want to come to Paramus Catholic? Is it to up the ante from a competition standpoint?
Yeah, all around, push myself in the classroom and on the football field. So that's why I had to make the movement.
And when you look at this program right now, good to be a part of something like this. There's a championship swagger around this program. You look at the schedule, it's the who's who's of high school football in New Jersey. It's an impressive schedule to look at.
Yeah, it is, and I just can't wait to take it on.
How about you? I mean, when you have all colleges knocking down your door, is it a process you're enjoying? I mean, is it something you talk about with your mom every day? Right now as a junior, what's the process like?
I'm loving it. I like going home, getting over 20 things a mail. I love talking about the recruiting process to my mom, so I'm loving it right now.
Is it too early for you to have a top 5, or do you have a top 5? Can you tell us?
It's early right now, but after my junior year, I will. Well, after this season, I will start trimming down. So I'm going to try to trim it down to 20, then 15, then see where it goes from there.
How quickly can a guy like you become a leader on a team when he sort of just arrived here? I mean, they are 2-time defending champs, but, you're the kind of guy that a defense can rally around. Are you trying to become a leader, quickly on the job here?
Yeah, I am. And, once I start making plays, I get everybody into it, and then that's when my leadership starts coming in.
Well, PC opens this weekend down at Gilman in Maryland. The question is, will Mr. Gary be on the field? Scotch Plains is protesting the appeal. They're not signing the papers. They said there were illegal recruiting violations. Paramus Catholic has now hired lawyers. There's a decision that's going to come down on Thursday if he is eligible to play this weekend or not. But that's just the climate, and I fought it forever, and you said to me, hey, if the state doesn't care, why do you?
Well, because when you go around and around, it'll be every day we can sit here talking about the nuances of a kid transferring. Is he eligible to play? Is he going to sit out to 30? Does he not have to sit out to 30? It is what it is, man, like it or not.
You go to those 6 big parochial schools, and you're going to find transfers. Case in point, the next team that we check in on, they set the standard for New Jersey high school football, Don Bosco, the way we know it now. Their quarterback, we already talked about it, a Dwight Morrow kid. You already mentioned it. Through to R.J. Edwards a year ago, played for St. Joe's. Don Bosco, we know this. By just watching the preseason in 2 of their scrimmages, they are a different team than they were a year ago. Scrimmages are scrimmages, okay? Who wins scrimmages doesn't matter. Toughness matters in scrimmages. And against St. Joe's Hamilton, and there's the touchdown pass that you talked about, transfer to transfer, and against Union City, their defense did not allow a single point. Davon Ellison last week, congratulations to the Big E. He committed to the Orange of Syracuse, another Syracuse recruit in this game, and I don't know if he's eventually going to end up there, but Daquan Kelly, DQ, is just a flat-out spectacular football player. So in this game, a very spirited game, played like a real game, except you couldn't return the kicks and punts. It was 7-7. McCoy would get into the end zone. Both coaches found out a lot about their teams in this game.
Yeah, Union City had a very good first quarter, an opening drive that they went deep into Don Bosco territory. But you know what? They didn't score, Mike. They missed the field goal. And that's kind of what you see out of Don Bosco so far. The only points on the night for Union City were by their defense. Don Bosco's defense has that snarl back, and they love to lead with the guys on the defensive side of the ball.
And the reason they were an uncharacteristic 7-4 was because their defense last year allowed 206 points. And when you go back and look through the years, I think the most they allowed in the last 10 years was about 165. That was the year before last year. You go back and during that great run, 75, 68, 94. So the coach is excited, and I can't imagine his wife Sue having to live with this guy in the offseason after going 7-4.
Well, right now, I mean, we'll know a lot after our first couple of games, but hey, we got some great challenges ahead of us. I think we got a chance. It's like anything else. You got to stay healthy, and things got to go your way, and like anything else. But I think we got a chance to, I think we got a chance to be good, and I think that we're ahead of, way ahead of where we were last year. So I think that's important. So we got a chance. We play good defense, and continue to be able to run the football well, and throw the ball well. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. So I think we got a great shot. I think we get a chance that to be better than anybody in the tri-state. To be honest with you.
Right now, as we get ready for the first game, what's ahead? Your offense, your defense, your specials. Assess that.
Defense is ahead, I think, for sure. Offensively getting better. I thought we had some pretty good production today offensively. Specials were pretty good today for the most part. I mean, hey, we got to find somebody to put the ball through the uprights. That's a problem right now. So we'll see. We'll see how it develops. Maybe it's just a bad day for him, and hopefully he'll rebound and do well.
When you came here in '99, you had 4 losses, but you were building something then. Those 4 losses a lot different than the 4 losses last year. How much did that 7-4 eat at you in the offseason?
Well, you know what? The longer you coach, it's everything's a new season, everything's a new. Yeah, things bother you. You say, heck, we were missed field goal away from a state championship last year. Our kids got better and better as the season got on. So I was proud of them. The way they handled adversity. We were in some adverse situations early on. We had a ton of injuries. I was glad. Liked the way we responded. I think we need to respond the same way this year, and right from the start, and really set the tempo of being a team that's going to go out there and play hard.
And do they have that in their DNA?
I think so. I think so. I think it's there. We're gonna find out. Hopefully it comes out. We're sure gonna try to get it out of them. So, hey, it's like sometimes you push a team, and all of a sudden they dig their heels in there. They don't want to move any further. But I don't think this group isn't gonna be one of those. I think they're gonna guys that are gonna want to start jogging and galloping and moving on. I don't think they're going to dig their heels in. I think they're going to continue to get better, and we'll continue to push them.
Now, after that interview, did you do something to upset the coach?
No, why? Is he upset with me?
No, but you told me he was very adamant about like a holding call 4 years ago.
No, you know what? I've just never seen the sense of urgency in Greg Toll talking about, he spoke about, hey, since 2000, they have won or tied for the division every year since. I think there's this word around town that Bosco has fallen off. Well, of course, the legendary run is over. The 6 straight titles, the 46 in a row, the 2-time national champs. But after 2 years, Mike, it was a different place last year, the Jersey football scene. For a while there in the regular season, Bosco and Bergen were on the outside looking in. I mean, you have to go back a long time before that was the case. Now, Bosco got up off the deck, and I think Coach Toll, give him credit, they had a wonderful class of 8th graders came into the building as 9th graders this year. That's not easy to do after 2 losing seasons. He just wants everybody to know, hey, relax with this idea that we're done.
We're going to talk about 2 of those freshmen a little bit, and congratulations to Bosco alum Patrick Murray.
Yeah.
He is now the kicker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Gaelic football.
Oh, gotta love it.
Gaelic
a lot of big kicks for the Iron.
Okay,
too.
so you listen to the stuff in the preseason and you hear all these things, and they win the 7-on-7 at Rutgers. They're invincible. St. Peter's. Listen, nobody's giving championships for shorts and T-shirts. Okay, and I went out there and I pressed my man Brandon Wimbush pretty hard during some of these interviews, as hard as you could press a high school kid. I'm not Mike Wallace.
He handled it pretty well.
He handled it great. He's a great kid. His mom's a great person. I met all the parents out there. So listen, there's a lot of expectations with all those wonderfully skilled athletes at St. Peter's Prep. They have 3 Division I football players. They have a 1 AA football player in Corey Cattle. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But for Wimbush and Minka Fitzpatrick, the best part is now they can just go play. They know where they're going to college. Wimbush is going to Penn State, and I started the conversation with Minka. Man, you must be glad this whole recruiting thing's over.
It's a great leap, it's a blessing that I have the option to go to a school like that, and just grateful for all the opportunities that the other schools gave me, so very happy.
You've been around here forever, been a starter since your sophomore year, and you get right there every year to the end, and then those unfulfilled dreams. How do you ring the bell this year?
Everybody got to stay healthy, stay focused, and, if we just keep doing what we're doing, the team looking great, played a great team today and on Tuesday, and if we just keep rolling the way we're rolling, we'll be able to be stopped.
What's the best thing about this football team right now? What does St. Peter's do real well?
We just have weapons, and then we're real laser focused, and nobody knows who's gonna be scoring. Like KJ had a big play today, I had a big play, and then the last scrimmage was all over the place. So we just have so many different kids that could make plays.
When you're a senior, is there more pressure to win because you are a senior and this is your last chance?
There's a little bit more pressure on me, myself, and the other seniors. So since we didn't get one yet.
All right, Wimmy, why is this year going to be different? Why is this team, when the season's done, going to hold up that championship hardware?
I feel like we're a unit. We've had a bunch of talks in the off season about being together, staying together through lightning bolts, we call them, and we've had a couple of those this off season, and we've seen that we've come together, we've come closer, and I feel like we all know each other very well, and just that chemistry. I feel like that's the little thing that separates us from the other teams in the state, and that's going to be a difference.
When you look at your schedule, there's no hiding the fact. In this sport, nobody wants to say a game is a gimme, but we'd all be lying if we knew that there's some games here that are going to be a gimme. And I think that's the thing that's hurt this team in years past, that those gimme games, you don't know how to handle them. Have you guys talked about what you can do in a game that you could win 70-0 to make yourselves better?
Yeah, just compete against ourselves. We've had those games in the past, and like you said, they haven't been very beneficial to us, and we have to learn, find a new way to make them beneficial for us. For in the long run, we can use those things, and it's like I guess we call it like a good practice. We want to get after it as much as we can and take it seriously like it's a state final game. And that's why we're going to approach them this year.
The night of the state championship, you end up going to the hospital after the second quarter concussion. How difficult was it for you to know that you couldn't be out there with your guys in a game that was right there for the taking against Paramus Catholic?
I felt like I let my guys down, but they know I wanted to be out there as much as possible. I really wanted to run out there in the second half and show my team that I'm out there, and I wanted to win. I wanted the team to know that I was there for them, but I couldn't be, and the defense held their own, and the offense did what they can, but came up short in the end.
Now, I've heard you say some things that winning a state title is a definite goal. Winning a national title is a definite goal. But we're making winning 7-on-7s a goal now? What are you talking about?
I mean, that was one of our preseason goals. Coach Hansen said win every game day by day, and those were our goals in the summer. But now we get to the real season and we progress. So Hudson County goal is our first one, and then state, and then national at the end.
Come on, you know when you put the shoulder pads on, it feels a lot better than running around in shorts and a t-shirt. Exactly. 7-on-7, come on.
Yep, you're right. So
is there anybody, are there certain games on this schedule that you're looking forward to?
All games, and starting off with the early one, Wise, the first game, a new team that we haven't faced in a couple of years, or I don't remember recently, team from Maryland. So we know they're going to be physical. ECA, obviously, Bergen, second week on ESPN. So we have a good amount of big games. IMG down in Florida. We're traveling, and worldwide national games. So all those games we look forward to.
You know how I feel about you. Big fan of number 7. The first time I saw you throw as a sophomore, I was like, wow, he's going to be really good. What have you done to make yourself an elite quarterback?
Off season, just being consistent with my workouts. That's when you can make your changes, your fundamental changes. Film room has become a big part of my game. Getting in there with my receivers and learning that chemistry with my guys. I had a young receiving core last year, and I feel like this offseason we built that relationship. So out here you can see it. Colton Huber, KJ, Sabia. So we have a good amount of athletes, and we all came as one, like I said. So.
And then finally, and this is the toughest question to ask a young kid. St. Peter's Prep always has wonderful skill kids. And then you get into these big games that you have to win, and sometimes the offensive line play is not there the way it should be. How much has that been talked about this year in order to ring the bell? We got the skill guys. Now we got to get the guys up front to do their part.
Yeah, it's always a problem or a concern with St. Peter's Prep, and this year I feel like we'll be all right. We'll grow every week with our linemen. We have a young line, I guess, so to say, and not much experience on the line. So I'll help them out as much as possible, and we have a good O-line coach and a good offensive coordinator who can help them out. And like I said, we'll grow every week, and we'll become one. So we'll become all right.
Great kid, great player. Big game to me, week 2, September 11th against Bergen Catholic.
Hey, man, listen, everybody's looking forward to that. And just for St. Peter's Prep, those questions they're going to answer now, can all this talent translate into their first title since 2005?
And October 25th, they play Union City. That's another one of those Hudson County games where St. Peter's hasn't lost forever. And when I talked to DQ Kelly about losing to Montclair last year in the state semifinals, Mr. Kelly's still upset.
It means absolutely nothing to me, Coach. I'm just ready to play him second week, but we got to take game by game, one at a time.
Watching this team tonight against Don Bosco, this team has some DNA where they could do some special things this year.
Yes, sir. We did great. We came out, tried our hardest. We had a couple of good plays, offense and defensive wise. We got to get better. That's why our coaches is going to help us practice, and we're going to get better and better.
Does this team have what it takes to win a championship this year? Because I love what the coach said after. Doesn't matter about these teams from Hudson County. It matters what we do in December.
Yes, sir. Most definite. We have a great. We have a lot of seniors coming back. We're brothers. We know what we're doing. We're gonna get at it game by game. We're gonna try and make something out of it. Try and bring something back to the city.
Every year you've been there, you take that step. You take that step. You take that step. That final step hasn't been taken. Is this the year when you can do it?
Absolutely. I think we have the experience. We certainly have the motivation and determination to get this done. I don't think we lack at any position. We're big, we're fast, and we just need to get better week by week and get it done when we're at that point.
You know, when I look at this team, I think back to some of the great teams in Hudson County, Hoboken being one of them, and you were around that as a player. You have some guys in this team that potentially could mirror some of those great Hoboken teams. How have you built this in a short 5 years into what you have?
Basically, exactly with the blueprint that was taught to us at Hoboken. It being an all-year-round sport. Teaching them to be committed to every phase of the game, the weight room, the conditioning, the academic and social part of being a student athlete, and just expressing to them that this is not a team, this is a football program, and there's certain things that are expected, and there's certain ways of doing things, and they understand that, and they do it. That's basically been it. It's been as simple as doing the things that I've been taught from the Hoboken days to the Miami days. So I would say a combination of that, and just basically being relentless as a coach. I'm sorry, but they understand I'm not there to pat them on the back. That's not my job. There's plenty of other people doing that for them. So, my job is to try to make them improve every single day. And, that's why I tell them I may sound negative, but I'm getting paid to make you better.
How disappointed will you and your coaches be if this team is not playing on that first Friday or Saturday in December?
Oh, it'll be as disappointing as it was last year. Last year there was a lot of variables in us not being in Giant Stadium. If you think back to some of the things that occurred within our county and our league, and some of the political aspects that came into play. But we lost on the field to the number 1 seed, who eventually won the championship by 5 touchdowns. They beat us by 5 points, and some questionable non-calls towards the end of the game. So I think last year it hurt and it was very disappointing, but I honestly can't tell you that I even imagine us not being there this year.
Well, Coach Valdez has great players. Tamaine Boyd, 240-pound running back. Jonathan Castellano going to Old Dominion. Tavares, the quarterback. Gonzalez, the lineman, going to Pitt. And they're going to have to use all those guys. Really, Seton Hall Prep watched them the other day. Pretty good team. September 20th, Montclair. That's when we're going to find out a lot.
Montclair, St. Peter's Prep, the only 2 losses they had on the field last year. And Mike, 17 starters return to the Soaring Eagles. And Wilbur Valdez, he inspires you just listening to him, just watching him coach. He's part of the reason we cover him as a player. We loved him. We love covering him as a coach.
His post game after the Bosco scrimmage was one of the best we've ever heard. A quick player's glance. Here we go. Just some of the guys that we saw. Kelly from Union City. To me, he was the best player that I watched with my own eyes in the preseason. A year ago, 75 tackles, 3 interceptions, 3 pass breakups. What you're going to see here is a lot of people like him at wide receiver. He is a lethal hitter and understands how to play the safety position.
We always find guys who love to go to high school football games, and they never went to the school, they really don't know much about the school, but they want to see players. This is one of the players, folks. You want to check out that Union City schedule, you want to go watch number 2.
DePaul is loaded with skill kids. Kareem Walker being recruited by everybody in America. This is the guy, Dubois, the receiver, 6'3", 210 pounds. Number 5 that just jumped off the page in the Ramapo scrimmage the other night. He's got great hands, 4.5 speed, big and strong, 542 yards and 8 touchdowns a year ago. He's going to improve on that.
Haas, they like to call him. And Dubois, just when you see him, Mike, you know you're dealing with a big-time player, and there's nothing he can't do on the field. And listen, batten down the hatches this year when number 5 goes out wide.
Reminds me a little bit of Leonte Carew. At Montclair, Elijah Robinson, spectacular, 6'2", 185-pound, athletic quarterback. He'll take his 4.6 speed up to Boston College. They've recruited him. Adazio's staff has recruited him as a quarterback. What they're getting is a great student athlete, a 4.0 grade point average, over 3,000 total yards a year ago for Fiore's guys who have won back-to-back state titles. He's a big reason why.
The creativity in his game, Listen, this is a guy, when he gets into the big game, he's delivered. I mean, look how much we think of Union City. Well, they ground out that 40-35 win last year. Robinson was a big reason why.
The toughest guy I've seen in the preseason is Justin Hogan. I want Rutgers to offer him a scholarship like Buffalo and Temple already has. 6'3", 230. Demikov's guys for Wayne Hills a year ago won just 5 games. I can promise you this, with him in there playing linebacker and running back, he runs as angry as any player I've ever covered.
Some guys absorb the blow, some guys deliver the blow, and that's what Hogan is, and he is going to be an absolute nightmare inside the 5-yard line.
We talked about Fitzpatrick, we talked about Wimbush. My favorite player on St. Peter's Prep, Corey Cattle. The horse is out of the barn with this guy. Not the biggest guy on the team, 5'9", 180. But the guys up in the Bronx loved him. He's going to play for Fordham next year. He does a little bit of everything for Hanson, and he does it all well.
You know why guys make the final cuts of NFL rosters? Because there's unlimited potential with ways they can contribute to the success of the football team. That's what Corey Cattle does. He will deliver positive plays in so many different positions on the football field. Offense, defense, special teams. CC is real.
So many great athletes at St. Peter's. So Corey Cattle waits his due and gets it done. I thought Jelani Ray Garvin was going to have a spectacular year this year for Bergen Catholic. Watched him in the preseason, and for some reason, his father John has decided to pull him out of Bergen Catholic. This was early in the afternoon on Monday. Personally, I think it's a terrible decision. I think he was primed for a huge year. It's the wrong thing to do.
We don't know if it's absolutely true.
Oh,
we
it's
think
done,
it is.
Jim.
We
It's
think
done.
it is. A lot of guys don't know about it. I hope it's not true. But listen, this is a kid with a lot of talent. It's going to affect his future. Jelani Ray Garvin had such a place in the Bergen Catholic scheme this year, and it looks like he's not going to be a Crusader.
Absolute shame. Again, this northern New Jersey, if I don't get what I want to do, I'm transferring out. It's got to stop. A lot of it has to do with the parents. At Seton Hall Prep, watched him on Friday afternoon, didn't know much about him. Jared Southers, a lineman, 6'4", 295. I liked his ability. I liked his athleticism. The one thing you're going to see here that worries me a little bit, and he's right now down to Temple and Rutgers, he's got to keep those hands inside. Has a tendency to get those hands around. You're going to get a lot of yellow hankies. This is what I like most about him. He missed all of last year with a broken foot. 4.25 grade point average. Think he has a huge upside. And the last guy that I saw as far as offensive line that I really love, Liam Smith, Red Bank Catholic, 6'5", 260. They've had guys like Quentin Nelson and Timmy O'Hara down there. What they get in 78, the left tackle, is they get an athlete who's going to put on a ton of weight, who's a mean, angry dude. When I watch him coming out of the huddle, he'd smack his hands. He wants to get up to the line of scrimmage and hit people. So I was very, very impressed with Liam Smith. Jim Portella does a wonderful job down there at the school down the shore. He's going to need, they always have great linemen. The question is now, can they put it all together and get that signature win in the playoffs up north?
3 straight years at 10-1 for Jimmy Portella's bunch. The next step could be right around the corner this year.
So there you go. Liam Smith, just a really, really good player. But I'm upset about Jelani Garvin heading out. Look, you know, these are guys, some of the guys that we didn't talk a lot about last year. One of the guys we talked about a lot is part 2 of our player look. We knew all about him. Miles Hartsfield, Sayreville High School. Broke my heart when he decided to go to Penn State over Rutgers. But what you get in Miles Hartsfield is a flat-out wonderful young man, a great, great player, who last year, he's the top prospect in the state in most people's eyes, ran for 1,586 yards, 24 touchdowns, averaged 13 yards per carry for Georgie Najar, 8 interceptions. He'll have different options when he gets to Penn State because of athleticism.
Mike, he never looks like he's running full speed, yet he keeps running by people. I mean, Hartsfield is an absolute glider. He can catch the ball, and when we saw him down at Rumson in their scrimmage, On this day, he's on top of his game once again. You see the vision and then just the sea of speed.
He's going to have to do a lot more than most Sayreville guys because this does not look like a Sayreville team of old. Nolan Borgerson, Westfield High School. Congratulations to Adazio, Westwood High School. Steve Adazio in Boston College. They identified him as a player, and why not? A year ago, almost 2,000 yards in receptions. That was a state record. 26 touchdowns. That was a state record. They are getting themselves a wonderful young man with deceiving speed at 4.5 in the 40, goes up and catches it, does great things on punt returns, very athletic.
He's been a program changer from day one, a freshman starter. The greatest news Vito Campanelli ever got was when Nolan said, I'm going to stay here and be a Cardinal for my whole career. I mean, listen, how many catches before he goes over 257 yards this season? When he does that, he'll be New Jersey's all-time leader in pass reception yardage. This is a once-in-a-lifetime talent for a public school in New Jersey.
And you see the feat. We saw this in the scrimmage the other day. Before that run, I had a chance to talk to him about this year.
Well, the expectations are obviously different. We were kind of a dark horse last year, and now we're on top of the world last year. So as a team, we're definitely not the hunter, but the hunted. So that's going to be different. As far as me, I'll probably see a little more different coverages. Probably know everyone's going to know who I am. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'll be more of a maybe diversion in a lot of plays, but I'm excited for the season.
16 Division I offers, and you chose Boston College. Are you glad that whole part of your football life is done?
Oh, definitely. That was a lot of stress for me and my family. So to get it done before the season was definitely a big thing for me. Now I can focus on this, don't have to worry about any of that, and it's a lot of monkey off my back for that one.
So much fun this team last year, a scoring machine. Now young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
How much can you help the quarterbacks get better?
Definitely a lot, just to get the rhythm down, just run good routes and help them out, see where the spacing is and stuff, and help them see what I see to get on the same level. But they're doing a really good job, and I'm really excited to see what happens.
You know what a state title tastes like. You still hungry?
Oh yeah, we're definitely hungry. We want the second one. We still want a little more respect around the community and stuff, so we're really fired up.
Oh, so much fun to watch. He got the state title. Al Kadir Ports and Weequahic almost did. They lost to Rumson 14-6 in the final. We watched him in the scrimmage the other day. Two-way stud. Last year, Jim averaged 16 yards per carry, scored 25 touchdowns on just 73 carries on defense, and that's what he's going to play at Rutgers. He'll play in the secondary, 31 tackles, 2 interceptions, 9 pass breakups. What I wanted to see the other day, and you saw it at times in the scrimmage the other day, his ability to get out and go. What I didn't see is consistency on every snap in every moment of the scrimmage the other day. We mentioned Rumson winning the title, Charlie Volker. What you see right away in the 6-foot, 190-pounder from Rumson, who's heading off to Princeton, he has gotten much bigger since they won the state title a year ago. Only 3 starters back on offense. They're going to need his school record 2,108 yards and 24 touchdowns. Here he is the other day. It's the first thing you see, how much bigger he's gotten. At Roxbury High School, last year they went 4-7. Cosmo
LaRusso.
There you go. Grant Dixon, I can tell you this right now. When I watched him in the scrimmage the other day, the first thing I noticed him was coming up from the secondary, making plays. Then I saw him get under center and do some really nice things. I think he throws it well. I think he runs it well. Last year, 43% completion, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That will be much better, and so will the 4-win total. This is a team that's going to knock on the door to get back in to the state playoffs. There's the throw, and what a catch right there. 2 freshmen we have to talk about. Kyle Brennan, a freshman from Don Bosco, will start in the secondary for Greg Toll. The only other 2 freshmen ever to do that at Don Bosco, Brian Toll
and Jabril Peppers, and he's got that 27 like Sikowski, and he looks like another Sikowski coming, and you have to keep reminding yourself when you were watching him that just a few months ago, Mike, he was in the 8th grade, and now he's out there with first-team Bosco defense. Are you kidding me?
And he has a great classmate in another freshman, Burrell Neal from Don Bosco. He's not a starter yet, but I told the coach, you're going to have trouble keeping the Linden native out of the starting lineup. He runs hard. He runs tough. He's just starting to figure this thing out. But look at the legs. Look at the caboose. The guy can really go. Jim, this is it. This is kind of our preview thing. Now we got a whole bunch to do. It gets busy. Monday's Quick Hits. We're doing 2 New Jersey shows, a non-public and a public. Top 25, Small School 15 on Tuesdays. Put a face on it on Thursdays. We'll get to DePaul. We had a lot with them. We had some Red Bank Catholic stuff. We just ran out of time.
Well, DePaul, #1 in the small school poll a year ago. Can they repeat? Or are you bumping them up to the big poll? Check in on Tuesday nights.